Bisa lihat nggak?
Bisa, bisa.
Oke. Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Today we are from Group 7 and my name is Nurul Eprillya and my other friends are Nurfaizah Muna and Imelda Iza Afkarina. We would like to present about the materials assessing listening. The first is assessment and test. Do you guys still remember what is assessment and test? Anybody knows? In the old times, many people think that assessment and tests are just synonym, but actually they are not. Test is the subtest of assessment, and assessment is ongoing pedagogical process. For example, when we are in the classroom and teacher make evaluation and student respond to a question or they are offers a comment, it is called apa tadi? Assessment. Iya, assessment. The next is informal and formal. Informal in listening is when student responses are implicitly evaluated without specific scoring or grading forms. For example, are students written work, notes, short answer, etc. Informal assessment usually they are unplanned and spontaneous in class. And how about formal? Formal is more deliberate and has conventionalized feedback. For example, sets of tasks of exercises, and then usually formal assessments are well prepared over specific scoring or grading forms. Actually, listening skill is an oral skill which is related to hearing, and oral skill is unobservable. It means that we can't directly measure or observe the process and the product of the comprehension. For example, when we are asking a person to close the window, and the person that we ask for, they are closing the window, and when we are talking to person and they not because they are agree with our opinion or something, it is called evidence of comprehension, but not actually observe receptors or sending message to the brain. So when we are assessing listening, we are pretty stuck with the reliance of inference in determining comprehension. The next material is gonna be presented by my friend.
Check. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
The next is about micro skills and macro skills of listening. Micro skills and macro skills of listening are two important concepts in listening skill in English. Micro skill of listening refers to the ability to understand details in a smaller conversation. In micro listening, you need to pay attention to is recognize grammatical word classes, system, patterns, rules, and recognize English stress patterns. For example of micro listening, the student who is talking to their classmate need to use their micro listening skills to understand the nuances and the details in the conversation. The student also needs to pay attention to the keywords and sentence that contain important information in the conversation. In this case, the student needs to listen carefully and ask questions and provide responses according to the content of the message received. And next, about macro skills of listening. Macro skills of listening refers to the ability to understand general topics and message conveyed in a larger conversation, such as in a presentation, interview, and group discussion. In macro listening, you need to recognize the communicative function of utterances and distinguish between literal and implied meanings. For example of macro listening, the student following in a presentation in their class and another student as listener needs to use macro listening skill to understand the topic of the presentation, the purpose of the presentation, and the main information conveyed by the speaker. The listener also needs to understand how the presentation is structured and how each part of the presentation relates to the other. In this case, the student, as the listener, needs to take important notes, pay attention to the structure of the presentation, and can ask the right question to clarify information. Okay, next is about assessing types of listening. According to Brown, there is 4 assessing types of listening. The first one is intensive listening. Intensive listening is techniques whose only purpose is to focus on components such as phonemes, words, intonation, discourse markers, and etc. An example, the teacher repeats a word or sentence several times to imprint it in the student's mind. Okay. Okay. The way for the teacher can use to assessing intensive listening is by giving assignment to students as follows. Distinguish phonemic pairs such as the word grass and glass, and then the words live and life. And next, distinguish morphological pairs, such as the word mist and mixed. And then distinguish stress patterns, such as the sentence I can go and I cannot go. I cannot go. And then face recognition, such as the sentence, I come from Taiwan and I'm Taiwanese. And the last is repetition. The student repeats a word. Okay. And the next will be presented by Imelda. Kemute.
Okay, guys. Do you guys hear my voice clearly?
Yeah.
Okay, next material. Now let's continue to discuss about responsive listening. As we know from the slide, that the main focus of responsive listening is to elicit an immediate responses. So it means that responsive listening is designed to assess student ability to respond such a simple question or a simple test in listening test. Okay, for example, when the teacher asks the student to maybe close the window, and then jika tiba-tiba respon dari student itu mereka sit or closing the door instead of closing the window as what already asked by the teacher, it means that the student doesn't have a good quality or a good ability in responsive listening. Other example or other way for teacher to assess responsive listening is by asking question, giving command, seeking clarification, and also checking comprehension. Okay, next slide. The next is selective listening. As we know from the meaning in bahasa Indonesia, selective itu artinya memilih. So it means that the key point of selective listening is to scan the material for a certain information. Jadi tujuan utama dari selective listening is to assess student ability to find an important information when they listen to some monologue, dialogue, text, or anything in the listening test. Here, some way for teacher to assess selective listening is by speech, media broadcast, stories, and also anecdotes. But I think the most common way for teacher to assess selective listening is by giving a fill the blank text. Fill the blank test. Sorry, I think all of us was already know what is fill the blank text. The process of filling the blank is what we call as selective listening. Okay, next material. The last is extensive listening. Extensive listening is that may require the learner to invoke other interactive skills. Here, the main point is to invoke other interactive skill. So it is the next level or the most general level for student in intensive, responsive, and also in selective listening. For example, note taking, asking question, discussion, dictation, and also dialogue, and some interactive skills. I think that's all about the material for today's presentation, and I'll give it back to the moderator. Thank you.
Okay, that was all the material for today. So, is there any question, guys? Before we continue to the ice breaking, is there any questions for our group, or maybe an additional opinion?
No.
Okay, we are going to continue to ice breaking then. So, our ice breaking today is about guessing the right word from this random word. Do you guys get the
I know.
Anybody can guess?
I know. I think it's cheeseburger.
Yes, it is correct. Okay, and next. Anybody? Anybody can guess the word? Yes, it is potato chips. And next.
Peanut butter and jelly. Yeah.
Ya, benar. Okay, next. Anybody?
Orang person. Rice Krispies.
Yes, it is Rice Krispies. How about this?
Chocolate brownies. Chocolate brownies.
Yes, it is chocolate brownies. And next. Nobody?
Apple juice.
Yes, it is apple juice. And then
Pepperoni pizza.
betul. Yay, next.
Nacho and cheese.
Yeah, nachos and cheese.
Chicken cheese.
Chicken nuggets.
Yes, chicken nuggets. It's chicken nuggets.
Yogurt. Frozen yogurt.
Yes, it is frozen yogurt.
Stay.
Chicken cheese.
Yes.
Macaroni and cheese.
Yes,
Macaroni.
macaroni and cheese. I think it is our stop. I think we have delivered all of our material for today, and thank you guys for attending this class. And we are sorry if there are any mistakes. So, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Yay.